In today's tutorial, watch as this image undergoes a complete transformation in real time. You'll discover the essential tools and expert techniques for achieving flawlessly smooth skin and luminous, captivating eyes. Let's dive in. We have provided a copy of this photo in the description for this video. Download the file and open it with these settings. We are going to start by making a copy of the background layer so that we are working with a backup. Now we are ready to start the skin retouching process. We're going to use the spot healing brush tool first to remove minor imperfections like blemishes and spots. Be sure you uncheck Remove after each stroke when you are doing mass processing of blemishes. One by one, we are going to highlight every blemish, speck of dust, and other imperfection we see. You can skip ahead or watch this unfold in real time. This process can be time-consuming, but it is also super rewarding to see the end results. If you want to skip ahead, you can jump to the 2-minute 50-second mark. Once you have selected all of the blemishes, hit Return or click the check mark to remove the blemish areas. Here's a comparison of our progress so far. I'm going to make another duplicate layer which preserves my progress. We are now going to use the spot healing brush tool to further clean up the skin. Use this tool once you have fixed the larger blemishes. Again, this process can be time-consuming and is a bit subjective based on the artist. You can watch this unfold in real time or choose to skip ahead. If you want to skip ahead, we switch to the mixer brush at around the 11-minute 30-second mark. Let's check in on our progress. You can toggle back and forth between your layers to see how the image is transforming over time. And we're back! I've now switched to the mixer brush tool. This is going to allow me to blend some of the metal and create a more polished and seamless look in the jewelry. We are going to polish this metal almost like you would in real life. I've switched back to the spot healing brush tool, and we will continue working on the skin. It's time to get set up for frequency separation. We are going to make a duplicate of the current layer, then make another copy. So we will have two new duplicates. One layer will capture the fine details, the texture of your skin. The other layer will hold the overall color and tone. This separation lets you work on each aspect independently. Name the first layer low and the second layer high. With the low layer selected, go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. We are going to use 6.6 pixels based on the resolution of this image. Select the layer labeled High. Go to Image, then select Apply Image. Select the layer Low from the Layer drop-down menu. Make sure blending is set to add and scale is set to 2. Click Invert. Now change the blending mode to linear light on the high layer. Now select your high and low layers and put them in a group. I'll select the low layer and then select the mixer brush tool. This will allow us to further smooth the skin. Select the high layer and the clone tool to even out skin without losing texture. I've made the decision to keep these mouth lines as part of the image. We could easily remove them, but they feel deep enough that they are part of this model's self, so I've let them be. It might not seem like much is happening with these tools until you toggle the layers on and off. However, it's always a good idea to periodically assess your progress. Here you can see that we've significantly brightened the image and eliminated some of the darker shadows. When it comes to beauty images, everything should appear radiant and youthful. We are going to brighten up the eyes by retouching the sclera. When dealing with the eyes, it's easy to make adjustments that don't feel right. Undo is your best friend. Don't be afraid to fix something that you did wrong with the brush. The important thing is getting it right. Now I'll make a clone of the combined group of layers and group all of the old layers into a single folder. Select the topmost layer. We are going to use a combination of the clone stamp and the mixer brush to clean up the face jewelry. It's time to really brighten up the eyes. I'll start by making a new hue/saturation adjustment layer. Set the saturation to -82. Create your layer mask, then select Intersect Mask with Selection. Now, make a new brightness/contrast adjustment layer and set the brightness to 11. Select the brush tool, make sure you have the layer mask selected and the brush color is white. I'll create a new group from these two adjustment layers. We are going to use these together with a layer mask to enhance the eyes in a non-destructive way. If you overpaint on the tear duct or lids, that is fine. We will clean that all up once we have the large areas filled. I've now switched back to the mixer brush to clean up the veins in the eyes. I've selected the patch tool to work on the area below the lip. We are going to use a generative fill to clean this area up. We have a hard shadow here that I want to remove, so I'll try another generative fill. Sometimes you have to go through a few generations with generative fill to get the look you are going for. I want her lips to pop, but I want it to look natural without too big of a shadow. Now I'm going to use the magic wand tool to select the skin. Feather your selection 10 pixels. I'm going to create a new layer called Mask, then create an alpha channel from the selection. With the selection still active, I am going to create a new solid color layer. This layer will serve as a way to adjust the color of the skin. Use the eyedropper tool to select a color that best represents your ideal color and change the layer mode to color. Drop the opacity down to about 13%. Select the mask and add an adjustment layer for levels. I adjusted the midpoint to 1.07. Use the object selection tool to select the person, then the magic wand to clean up the selection as needed. Create a new layer and an alpha channel on that layer. Click the alpha channel to load the selection. Now create a new solid color layer and pick a color that you think makes the subject pop. I see some additional imperfections, so I'm going to merge the layers in this group to create a new layer that contains the existing edits. I'll then select the Remove tool. I am going to use the Object Selection tool to select the jewelry around her neck. You may need to refine this with the help of your existing mask of the subject by inverting your mask selection. You should wind up with just the mask of her jewelry. Now that we have her jewelry masked, I'm going to use the Dodge tool to brighten up the silver. I'll repeat the same process on her arm. I see a couple more things that I would like to remove, so back to the Remove tool. I'm going to brighten up the eyes just a tiny bit with the Dodge tool. Then, use the Burn tool to make the eyebrows a bit more pronounced. I'll do the same on the eyelashes, as well as the pupils. Create a new black and white adjustment layer. Change the mode to soft light. Open up the layer style and copy these settings. Hit Ctrl plus Alt plus Shift plus E. This copies all existing layers and merges them into a single layer. The new layer is placed on top of the other layers. Then, take all the layers and place them in a new group. We're almost there. I see two things I missed. First, I'm going to blend this shadow under the chin line. I also need to bring back the color in the very corner of the eyes. I had some overpainting there. To do this, I'm simply going to set my opacity to 50% on the paintbrush and use an alpha channel to let the original image show through slightly. That's it, we're done. Now, the most rewarding part of the video, let's check out the before and afters. Thanks for watching along. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy creating!